Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Character Inspiration with Calv. I missed a week. It happens. So this week, I'm going to be doing Druid. As normal, I do good, neutral, evil. Druid is a little weird because generally they revere nature, as it says, so it seems weird to have them as evil, but to an extent, it also makes the most sense. So, as always, I will start with good. So here's the Druid. Circle of the Moon. I just went with the basic one because I think out of the player's handbook, Circle of Land is alright, but it's very specific to what land you come from, where Circle of the Moon is the one where you can use, I'm not a big fan of Druids, and if you look at it, that's really, all they really get is Wild Shape. They get spells, but it's pretty much just their Wild Shape. So Circle of the Moon improves upon that so that you can get different forms, and it's actually pretty nasty because once you're 20, I think you can unlimitedly, infinitely, you can use Wild Shape an unlimited number of times. So at 20, you can just Wild Shape forever. So you get hit for something, you Wild Shape back, so pretty much you can't kill, or it's really hard to kill a level 20 Druid, because they could just on their turn Wild Shape, and now they're just tanking literally everything you're throwing at them. Especially Circle of the Moon. So Circle of the Moon, the biggest part of it is that they can get up to a CR, or Challenge Rating 6. Technically it's like 6.3, which really isn't anything super, super powerful. If you wanted, just look in the Monster Manual, or anything where there are beasts. If they could get a slightly higher, if they could up that a little bit to CR8, they could turn into a T-Rex, which is why I hate Polymorph, but I don't want to go into that right now. Circle of the Moon, very much, more in tune with the animals in a functional sense. They understand them, kind of the best way to understand something is to become that something. So they can turn into that, and they can turn into more powerful versions of that. So I really like this, and the background I went with for this one, actually, is Uthgar tribe member. So this character was raised as part of one of the barbarian tribes, which actually makes perfect sense considering they are usually the specific tribes, which are explained earlier on in this book, and I should have saved the page, but they are very much, the bear tribe, the moose tribe, the elk tribe, the lion tribe, the tiger tribe, stuff like that. So having a druid is probably very revered as a member of the tribe. So this character, maybe at an early age, showed a certain proficiency or interest in it. Maybe wasn't the fastest or the strongest, because you got to be fast and strong for barbarians to live out in the wilderness. So maybe they weren't, or maybe they cared a bit more about the animals that they were killing. And not in a you're harming this innocent thing. They're like, they paid extra respect to it, and maybe the elders noticed, and so they offered them the training to become a druid, and they and then maybe they went to the different tribal meetings for the different tribes. So maybe they're their yearly gatherings, and they went to those, and they got to see all the other tribes and all the other animalistic portions, and so that kind of drew them into specifically the Circle of the Land, where they are trying to understand all these different kinds of animals, different forms, different perspectives. And so I thought that would be kind of interesting. It's very basic. It's not anything super complicated, anything tragic. You don't have to have a tragic backstory, but we'll get to one. So that's very, very basic, very simple. You could do anything you want with it. Maybe you were a clan crafter in the wild, whatever. It doesn't matter. You could be a druid that lives in a city. A clan crafter or a dwarven one could make sense because you're underground, and that's nature technically. That's geology. So yeah, that's the good one, or the good aligned one. Very simple, very basic, but something you as a player or you as a GM could easily throw into a game. You're like, boom, introduce this character, it's an elder. It doesn't have to be. Maybe it's part of the whole thing is at a certain age, they decide that they want to go out and help more than the tribe. They, like, like what Jews do. No, is it Jews? No, it's, the Amish do. I think actually, it's Romspringen, I think is the thing that Jews do. But it's, you know, it's the rite of passage, the rite of, or whatever, and you go out into the world. And so this could be their go out into the world and explore, always intending to come back to the tribe. And they go on this adventure. And, I mean, they could periodically come back to the tribe, bring the rewards of their adventures, you know, so they have a permanent home in the tribe. They come back with their newfound party. So that they can explore, so that they can understand where the Druid comes from. They bring their, you know, riches and their, I mean, especially, you know, your barbarian tribe, you know, you bring your fighter or even a barbarian, or, you know, that could be another thing where it's if somebody's playing a barbarian in the game, you could easily incorporate that background, so you're both from the same tribe. Or if you want to be a little risque about it, maybe you're from two different tribes. You're a male, she's a female. You're a female, she's a male, whatever. And you're in a relationship, and so you kind of, you know that maybe your rival clans, it's very much Romeo and Juliet or anything like that, so you decide to run away and adventure together. They want to learn more about the world and more about fighting and stuff, and I'm totally should just use this for. I'm probably going to use that barbarian concept for the human barbarian. Nice, got the human barbarian. Good aligned one down. So that's it for that one. The second one. Okay, so I don't have this one. The specific information on this one. I could. You could look it up. Look up the Unearthed Arcana for the Circle of Spores, which I really like, and if I play a Druid, that's probably what I'm going to play, because like I said, I'm not a big fan of Druids. I don't really care much for them. They're more flavor-based characters. I like a character with more meat on its bones, ability-wise. I mean, they could turn into different animals, which is fine, but they're limited in the beginning, and that's a whole thing. Actually, my Necromancer currently in the game, my brother had an idea of a Druid Necromancer that was able to wild shape into undead forms, and so I'm actually playing a human Necromancer, my Necromancer that I mentioned all the way back in the Wizard video, and he got, I call it Undead Transformation, and I take on some of the characteristics, like the zombies fortitude. I gain 10 hit points, I think also Alip, but I gain like a flight speed and the 10 hit points, and but that's really it. Like, I get a couple of resistances or immunities. Nothing super, super powerful. Not like turning into a jellyfish and being able to breathe underwater or something like, or not a jellyfish, but whatever. So it's a pretty cool concept. Circle of Spores. I am predicting, and this is my video proof, I explained it to my friend who's played Druids for like 8 years. If you're watching this, hi Curtis. Circle of Spores, I think, especially because Ravnica is coming out in like 3 months, 2 months. It's 2 months at this point-ish. I think that Circle of Spores was a playtest for the Ravnica book that is coming out, because this is very much nature and undeath. They have the ability, they have their spores, and if they can on their turn, they can use their reaction to damage somebody with the spores, do some poison damage to them. They can kind of take some power from the spore, the spore, and instead of wild shaping, they kind of get more hit points and do more damage with their spores. So they're kind of, it's very interesting. I really like it because it doesn't depend on turning into an animal, which is an option. I think you can still turn into an animal. You don't have to. And so based on that, the character is actually, let me find it, an acolyte, because I think in there it's kind of a. In Ravnica, I don't know a whole lot about it. I did a little bit of research about it. I think it's kind of almost a religion type of thing, because it's the guild, and they are very nature oriented. They grow fungus and mushrooms and stuff, and they use undead to maintain it, because it's a free labor force essentially. and they don't have any issues with the undead, because the undead are, it's a tool. It's how you use it. You know, if you want to use them for evil, you can use them for evil. You can use, as I'm going to explain in the next one, you could use animals for evil. It doesn't matter. It's you as a character, and it's the tool or what the intent behind it is. So, this character spent its life. I mean, it could have been, you could have been an orphan, or maybe your family was in the guild, and so you joined into the guild. And instead of being like a cleric of it, or maybe you're a fighter of it, or, you know, a defender of it, you know, you kind of embrace the whole cosmic balance, because this is the neutral one. So it's nature and undead, good, bad. Like there's kind of a balance. It's all in how you use it, you know. Funguses can be used to kill people because they're poisonous, or they can be used to maintain people because they're edible. Undead could be used to kill people or used to farm. It really all depends on how you use it. So this character kind of embraced the philosophical and belief of that guild. I should have found and written down what it is, but if you know anything about Ravnica, you know exactly what guild I'm talking about. And if you look up the guilds from Ravnica, it's like the something swarm or something. I don't remember. It all makes sense. So that's my prediction, is that this is going to be the circle that one of the Druid varieties that they release in Ravnica. So here's hoping. And kind of maybe it doesn't have to take place in Ravnica, but it's a kind of the belief that you could follow, that your character kind of follows a nature god, or it could be a nature and necromancy god, or nature and undeath. You know, you don't have to be opposed to it. So let's say it's not Ravnica. Ravnica, this fits perfectly. But your character went Acolyte. You know, maybe you were a member of the church. Maybe your parents were killed. Maybe you ran away. Something. Or you know, your parents are part of the church, and it's a nature-based god. But you still have some kind of fascination and respect for the undead. They're generally bad, especially intelligent undead, usually vampires and liches. Terrible. But zombies, skeletons, like they're a free labor force. Why do they have to be bad? So maybe that's, you butted heads with your parents, you got kicked out of the church, maybe not. Maybe you kind of kept it to yourself, kind of did some research, and went off. And this is where you run into the party. Maybe you run into some people, and you know, you see that they're going exploring, and you're like, hey, let's go. I'll join you. So it all depends on where you are. So, all right, and then the last one is going to be, this one doesn't look super good, Circle of the Shepherd. It's very much more nature spirits and beasts and fae. So you're less, it's not necessarily turning into them, but channeling their power or using them. And so this one's the evil one, so, you know, it's not going to be good news. So this one, I went with the soldier background. So the whole thing is that this character, you know, had a proficiency in Druid magic, maybe, or maybe didn't have anything, and then went and was kind of forced into the military life. They joined as soldier. They were told, we're going to go kill these orcs, we're going to go kill these goblins, we're going to go kill these XYZ bad guys that are, you know, a threat to the nation, country, yada, 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 because they do this thing. They kill, they rape, they maim, they do terrible things. And then you're like, all right, let's do this. And you join up, and you go, and you fight, and you're part of it. And then at some point, you start noticing that all the things that your people, your leadership said the enemy soldiers were doing, your comrades are also doing. You know, they're going, and maybe they attack an orc village. Well, the orcs aren't there, and they kill the old men, and they rape the women, and, you know, torture the children, and they do all the terrible things that they said that the orcs did. And it doesn't make sense to you, and it kind of eats at you, and then you have enough, and you desert. and you run away, which, I mean, could definitely be a big thing as part of this. And you just run into the wilderness, you know, far away. And then you survive in the wilderness on your own for a couple years, and it just, this hatred just kind of corrupts your mind, and it just makes you so angry, and you say, screw it. You know what? You know what the common factor in between these two things is? You know, you saw orcs do terrible things. You know, that there's no denying that. But you also saw, you know, your human, your elven, your dwarven comrades doing terrible things as well. Fuck it. Just humanity is a plague, and you will wipe it from the face of the planet. And, you know, maybe you befriended some animals, some wolves, some whatever, some kind of hunter type thing, and I mean, you could even be corrupted by, you know, the any evil fae. Perhaps if you want your character to be evil, but maybe redemptible in the future, or if you just want the character, or if you want the bad guy to be. It's kind of similar to my my ranger, my evil ranger, because I think that really the thing that makes the most sense, if you're going to be evil, an evil nature person, ranger or druid, it makes the most sense that you're gonna hate humanity, because you love nature, and the only thing that is, you know, burning down the forests and killing wildlife are the humans. I mean, you're like, all right, that wolf kills that deer, but it's for survival reasons. It's not out of some pleasure or whatever. So it makes sense that you get frustrated with what's going on, and so you just channel not the evil, because you think that humanity is evil. So you're kind of misguided. I mean, you could be argued that you're different alignment, but you are crossing a line, and you are doing evil things. So you raise some wolves, and or you know, you have some wolves that you befriend, and you know, maybe it's Fae, and you know, the planning goes into effect, and you want to breed, and you want to start wiping out. You know, maybe you decide to attack some villages. I mean, this works a lot better. This is better as a villain for a campaign, or if you're playing in an evil campaign. This and the rat. If you have the ranger who has the dire rat, disease dire rat, that would be kind of nifty. But so it's kind of suddenly, you know, there's, you know, tribes, or there's villages in a country, and their livestock are getting killed. Or maybe you just can't save the livestock. Maybe you're like, all right, I understand that these are beasts of burden, but they're still animals, and you bring them out, you rescue them. Maybe you kill somebody who got in the way, and you start doing, like, just wandering, rescuing animals from captivity. Maybe there's traveling circuses that have animals in captivity, or you'd especially hate any of the merchants that sell exotic animals, because what are they going to? They're going to go to somebody who doesn't appreciate them or respect the natural beauty of it, and they might kill it. They might put it in a thing and try to hunt it for sport, and then they just killed that beautiful creature for fun. Once again, for fun. So maybe you do what you can because maybe you're not strong enough. So maybe, you know, you rescue some cows. You let some cows out of their pens and have them run into the woods, which, you know, they're probably going to die, but they're going to feed the wolves, and then when the wolves are done eating them, foxes, and then you know, the flies, and you know, all that. Like, it helps nature. It'll rot, and it'll decompose and be food for the trees and the plants, and it's a whole thing. So it's not going to waste. And then, you know, you have a mission, especially if in this world there is something like that. Like, there's this big thing where they sell animals or something, and, you know, you go and you want to take care of that. Which, I mean, that character could be good aligned because you're doing good things, but it's kind of a slippery slope. Maybe you're good aligned to start with, and then you cross the line because you get angry, and then you alignment shift to evil. But I like the idea, because it's kind of the bad guy, like the Punisher. Like, he's evil. He's an evil guy. He kills people. But he does he kills people for the right reasons. He goes over, it's one of those, like, weirdly gray areas. So, that is Druids. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Druids. I'm going to mention that, just so people are like, I don't feel like you did the justice for the characters that you could have. You were kind of lazy on the good one, or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of Druids. I had a Druid in a Pathfinder game, and that's really what made me not like them, because I didn't care much for wild shaping, and that's 90% of what they are. They're wild shape. Or animal companions. In Pathfinder, I had an animal companion. I had an Ankylosaurus animal companion. They are the best animal companion. I don't care what you say. So, I have played one. I'm not talking from having never played the character. I don't like it very much. Spells were kind of mediocre. I was also trying to be the healer of the group, and they don't get great healing, at least in Pathfinder. This one, it's better, because you can spell slots. But, so yes, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, like, and comment. Make sure you hit the bell, ka-ding, to get notifications about future videos and when they come out, which is pretty regularly at this point. Next week, I believe, is Cleric. I think it's Cleric. I played many Clerics. I don't think I ever played an Evil Cleric. But Cleric I can do. Then Bard. Bards are weird. I don't like any of them. I might have to go and just grab one of the random homebrew. I don't like all of the Bard colleges are good. I just don't like any of them more than the other. I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm going to play this. And Barbarians. Barbarians are fun. So next week should be Cleric, then Bard, then Barbarian, and then maybe Paladin. I might jump into Paladin, or I might just get Paladin for this run. And then I'll have to pick a new race. I'm just right in the middle. So I might just jump up to the top and go Dwarf. So I'll start at the top for race and work my way down, and I'll start at the bottom for class and work my way up. So that is Druids. Like I said, please subscribe, hit the bell, ding. If you like these videos, let me know. I really like feedback. You know, you're like, oh, this was good. Maybe what about this? And then I can have discussions about it, which I love discussing. I wouldn't be doing these particular videos. I mean, video game videos, I could do those and not talk to anybody. But these in particular are kind of getting thoughts about different character concepts and ideas for games. So I obviously care about discussing that in comic books, but I don't have time to read comic books right now, unfortunately, or the money. So, yeah. Oh, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. That's the stuff. Okay. Thank you for watching. And as always, I will catch you guys next time. Kavik out. Bye.